Hello, sports fans. Welcome back for another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Colin Costigan.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Sergio Gonzalez.
What's up, guys? This is Adam Garcia. We're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
Kansas City Chiefs star tight end Travis Kelce admits he's struggling in the early stages of his 2024 season. Despite the Chiefs sitting atop the AFC West at 4-0, Kelce hasn't played the way fans are used to seeing him play. Even with his strong performance Sunday against the Chargers, where he had 7 receptions for a total of 89 yards, he only has 158 receiving yards and still 0 touchdowns for the season.
Kelce opens up about his struggles during his podcast, New Heights, saying, quote, "I play like trash. I'm playing winning football. It's not trash, but it could be better," end quote. Chiefs fans are hoping Kelce can bounce back to his big play ways when they face the New Orleans Saints this upcoming Monday night.
The 2024 WNBA Semifinals are here, tipping off in thrilling fashion. Game 1 sets the stage for an intense battle for a spot in the finals. The 4 teams in the bracket for the finals included top-seeded New York Liberty, Connecticut Sun, Minnesota Lynx, and the Las Vegas Aces. In Game 1, Liberty secured an 87-77 victory over the Aces, with standout performances from Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart, who accounted for 55 of the Liberty's total points, effectively winning their opener against the Aces. In the third quarter, Liberty was ahead 18 points.
Although seeded at number 2, the Minnesota Lynx lost in a nail-biting 73-70 game against the Connecticut Sun. The Suns had several three-pointers that led them to the victory, with Sun Marina Mabrey scoring 20 points. Game 1 also garnered excitement, with Minnesota officially averaging 23 assists per game, which is a WNBA best. The WNBA Finals will take place October 20th, available to be streamed across ESPN networks and ABC.
The LA Dodgers have clinched the number 1 seed in the National League, thanks to the Phillies' 6-3 loss to the Nationals on Saturday. The Dodgers have already clinched the NL West titles with Thursday's win over the Padres. This is the 5th time they've had the top seed in the NL field, along with their 2017, 2019, 2020, and 2022. On the road to the World Series, the Dodgers have a first-round bye and will open the NLDS at home on October 5th, where they take on the winners, Padres, who swept the Braves in the NL Wildcard Series. This matchup between the Dodgers and the Padres is a highly anticipated series, with both teams having history. The Los Angeles Dodgers also have home field advantage in the NL Championship Series. With a better record than any American League team, they will also have home field advantage if they make it to the 2024 World Series.
In other exciting news for women's sports, tennis legend Billie Jean King became the first individual female athlete to receive a Congressional Gold Medal. This honor is used to distinguish and acknowledge someone's achievements, and until now, others who were awarded were all men, including Jackie Robinson and Jesse Owens on that list.
King earned the distinction for her advocacy for equal rights and gender equality that spans decades. Her efforts to elevate women's sports, including fighting for equal prize money and establishing the Women's Tennis Association in 1973. King also championed the passage of Title IX to ensure equal funding for men's and women's sports programs in schools and universities. King is best known for her groundbreaking victory in the iconic 1973 Battles of the Sexes match, where she defeated former men's champion Bobby Riggs in front of millions of viewers, making it the most watched tennis match of all time.
In her career, she secured 39 Grand Slam titles across singles, doubles, and mixed doubles events. King's legacy serves as a beacon of progress and empowerment for women in sports.
Stay tuned for our roundtable discussion coming up right after the break. So, of course, I'd like to begin talking about the struggles that Travis Kelce has faced at the start of the 2024 season. Last year, through 4 games, he had 27 receptions for a total of 222 yards. And now this season, through 4 games, he has 15 receptions for 158 yards. So he did have a good game this past Sunday against the Chargers. He did have 7 receptions for 89 yards. But as we know, the Chiefs are going to be without Marquise, or as he's called, Hollywood Brown, and then Rashee Rice. They're out for the season, or at least for the regular season that we know. Do you believe that Patrick Mahomes can rely on Travis Kelce like he used to in the past?
I feel like he can, and maybe I'm biased. I am a Swiftie, but I want Travis to realize you're a champion. Like, you're not a rookie. You are a champion. You know, like you said, of his 4 games last season to the 4 games this season, he did have 3 touchdowns last season for the first 4 games, and right now he has 0. Just keep finding open ways, and Patrick Mahomes will always find you. You just got to be open, and when he throws the ball, you catch it. Just go for it. You are a champion. You are a Swiftie. Just keep going.
I completely agree. And ultimately, Travis Kelce is a champion of now 2 straight years. And if you want to go back beyond the prior playoff success, there's a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Last year, he had around almost 1,000 yards leading the team and had 5 touchdowns. So there's no doubt in my mind, especially now with the injuries, he's just going to step up once again.
Yeah, I also believe in part he has been getting open, but at the same time, your quarterback's not always going to find you, even a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But like you guys mentioned, I also believe that I think it's going to improve. I think it's just every time, like we're seeing it with some players across the league too. It's just a slow start to the year because like we always say, it doesn't matter how you start. It's always about how you finish. Now, if we want to go from the gridiron to the court, the WNBA Semifinals are going on right now. And currently, the Liberty are up 2-0 on the Aces. And the Minnesota Lynx and the Phoenix Suns are actually tied at 1 game apiece right now. As we mentioned, with the Liberty playing the Aces, they're looking for revenge after losing to them or at least losing to the Aces last year in the finals. Up 2-0, looking like Aces could maybe make a comeback, but it's looking pretty tough from there. I just want to know for you guys, just based off of what you're seeing, who do you think comes out on top?
I think it's time for the Liberty. I mean, the Aces have dominated the league for the past couple of years. A'ja Wilson, she's amazing. But the chemistry between Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu is finally clicking. And it's great to see. And honestly, I think Brianna Stewart made the right move by going to New York.
You know, I am going to politely disagree with you. I'm having the reigning champions coming back.
Oh, wow.
And I just feel they have the championship mentality. And the second game was close. They lost by 10 in the first game. They lost only by 4 in the second game. I felt Chelsea Gray really came up. The bench came up too. The role players really were emphasized in the second game, where in the first game, only the stars were scoring. They got no help from anyone else. I believe the Aces, quote me on it, they will come back and they will win. And they'll repeat again.
Well, as much as I like your optimism, I'm going to have to side with Sergio here because the Liberty are the number 1 seed for a reason. In her 4 playoff games, Ionescu is averaging 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. That is always going to get the job done. So she's playing to the caliber of what a number 1 seed team would be. And I also believe, like you said, it is just the Liberty's time. Aces have been so dominant with A'ja Wilson. I would like to see somebody else win, so I'm going to stick with probably everybody's popular pick, but I'm going to stick with the Liberty.
They also said that about many other teams before. It's their time. It's their time. Liberty have a great team. They may not have the championship mentality yet. So I'm going to really see, I think the Aces will pull it out. And you guys are going to be, telling me in the next couple of weeks, you were right.
As much as I do like your optimism, I think you're wrong. So now, speaking of playoffs, we're going to get into the Dodgers. We just found out that they're going to be playing the San Diego Padres in the National League Division Series. Of course, it's been very frustrating last 2 NLDS appearances for the Dodgers, only winning 1 game, that one when coming against the Padres in Game 1, but have since gone on to lose 6 straight games. So in your mind, given that the Dodgers we mentioned they have a really injured rotation, there are some changes being made right now. Yamamoto is now starting Game 1, whereas Flaherty will be Game 2. And we also just learned that the Padres are going to be without Musgrove. So I just want to know, do you think the Dodgers are going to be able to respond this time around?
I think the Dodgers have a good chance because it is a series of 5 games. Ultimately, the Padres are going in with a lot of momentum. You saw that home crowd in San Diego. It took them nothing to beat the Braves. Now, I do think, though, that their pitching is going to be pretty strong. Michael King absolutely shoved with 12 Ks, and he's going to be starting at Game 3 at home against the Dodgers. So ultimately, it's going to be tough. I mean, Flaherty and Yamamoto are very good pitchers, but they're also facing one of the most hot offenses right now. I mean, you got Machado, Tatis, Jackson Merrill who stood out. It's going to be pretty tough.
And I hear you there, and I feel like pitching for the Dodgers, they're going to show up to see this postseason. I feel like, of course, we all saw what happened last postseason. The pitching was not well, but I feel like they also have the championship mentality. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but that's all you really need sometimes. It's in those moments when you're in the bottom of the 8th or bottom of the 9th, you're here in LA, you're going to really try your best. So in the top of the 8th, the top of the 9th, when you're a pitcher, you're like, you know what? I need to bring this together. And look, the regular season wasn't great for the Dodgers against the Padres. They were 5 out of 8 for 13 games. But, you know, it was regular season. So hopefully the Dodgers will just put that mentality in and they'll come out on top. But it's going to be an entertaining 5-game series, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe a couple years ago, back when the division teams would face each other 19 times, I believe the Dodgers beat them 16 out of the 19, and they ended up losing to them in the postseason. So ultimately, I mean, if it's in our favor, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, and I also like the narrative. A lot of people are picking, a lot of like quote unquote experts are picking the Padres. And it's kind of nice because the Dodgers have always been, even with the $1 billion that they are plus that they've spent this offseason, of course, with signings like Shohei and Yamamoto. I like the fact that the spotlight's not necessarily on us anymore. It's not really on the Dodgers. It's kind of like a lot of people are starting to like pick up on the Padres and how their regular season success, but just like how it was flipped in 2022. So I'm hoping that the Dodgers can flip that narrative as well, just like the Padres did in 2022.
Well, I think it needed to happen because a couple of years ago we had the Giants. That was like that rival for the Dodgers, and we haven't had that for a couple of years. So I feel like for baseball as a whole, this is great baseball. And this is good that you have the Padres coming up now, a hot team. Finally, they can challenge the Dodgers.
Yep. And just like Machado said, once they were interviewing him about the Dodgers matchup for the NLDS, so like he said, that's what everybody's wanted, right? Just like peak entertainment. And I feel like it's going to be a really exciting 5-game series. Now, speaking of something that's been really exciting, our men's soccer team is on a roll right now. They're currently 5-3-3, and they just won in their first conference game against Irvine. They were up 2-0. They got goals, second goals of the year for Fitzwilliams and Jose de la Torre, and they each got that in the second half of that game. I'd like to go over to you, Sergio. You were at that game. I want to know, what do you think was working so well for them?
I mean, ultimately, like, they found their stride. Coach talked a lot about blazing speed and praised UCI for being a very fast team. Not only a very fast team, but a very aggressive one. And that's exactly what I saw. It was a very physical match. There were a lot of yellow cards, but ultimately CSUF won by substitution. Fitzwilliams did not play the first half. He came in, scored a goal 59 seconds into play. Stuff like that, spark plugs is exactly what they need, and that's exactly what they're capitalizing on.
And I feel like that's, you know, you brought up Coach Guntz. I mean, that's his mind. You know, he's like, we need something to mix it up, even though, you know, they were playing pretty well. And, you know, I'm glad to see our defense is actually playing good now. Like we said before the show, we were talking about how the first 3 games weren't going our way. You know, they allowed so many goals and we couldn't get a clean sheet. Now our goalkeeper is doing a fantastic job at just keeping his composure. He's really just trying to just play the game and not really overthink things and make key saves and just go with the motions. So I'm really excited to see the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I like how you pointed out their defense because they've actually only allowed 6 goals in their last 8 games, which compared to, I believe they allowed 12 in their first 3 games. So I guess my question for you now is, do you believe that that strong defensive presence is going to continue throughout conference play?
For me, like you said, I'm very optimistic. And so I would want them to keep the defense, but at some point during the season, there's going to be a low. We all have to expect that. They're going to be tired legs. There's going to be a lot of just trying to find that consistency again. But I do have them just continually going strong. The goalkeeper is really good. So I just feel like defense is going to keep up, hopefully.
I completely agree. When they have a stride, they keep going. I remember last year they set a program record with 8 straight wins, but that did fall off a little bit in the middle of conference play. But they did refine their footing, but unfortunately lost in the semifinals. So hopefully this time around, if they do lose that footing, they can continue their stride. And obviously everybody playing to their best capability, they should be fine.
And now the Titans are going to be playing Cal State Bakersfield, their next game here on Saturday. And we know Bakersfield, they're 4-2-2 on the year. And they actually just won their first conference play against Sac State in a dominating 3-0 win. So We know that they've got their work cut out for them, but we wish them nothing but the best.
All right, Titans, that is all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Colin Costigan.
Thank you. I'm Sergio Gonzalez. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, Titans. See you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Adam Garcia. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you already haven't at CSUF Titan Sports to keep you updated on all things sports.